everyone. Thank you for all being here. Thank you for coming out to this test stream. I deeply appreciate you all being here, and thank you to my wonderful panel tonight. How are you guys all doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome.
Splendid.
Let me say hi to the chat really fast because we have 15 people here, which is the most people I've ever had before. So now already you guys are exceeding my expectations on support. Again, I wonder what I've done to support this, but hail to my co-sister from Literary Soul Sisters. We had a fantastic stream this past Saturday, and we'll have it hopefully one again this coming Saturday. Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. And here's my big sister, Lady Marine. Hey, Cajun. Thank you for all your support. I know you're always saying that you're going to come out to my stuff, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. Hi, Harley. Harley, we are going to make sure everyone behaves in this one stream tomorrow night, or I will ban everyone. All of them.
It's my stream. I can do whatever
care.
I would like on my stream.
You know, McKenna will have my back on this issue.
McKenna is not in Max's Man Cave. She only shows up for Mondays with Max and McKenna. Those are two different shows. So.
She still has sway over you, sir. And speaking of which, here is Miss McKenna herself. She is driving across Alaska, so she's going to pop in and out as she can, but we all wish her our love, and we miss her deeply. And also, you need to get back on your stream with Max and keep this man in line. That's all I have to say about that. Hi, Blair to Blair. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see who else. Wayne Ford, hello. Good evening. And Arkansas, I finally learned to say your name thanks to Johnny's streams. As per usual, my mom is here, and I appreciate that. And Frank Porch Concerto, thank you so much for being here. We always chat in Poor Choices, so it's nice to see you here. I deeply appreciate you being here. So this is definitely, I'm a little nervous doing this, but I am excited to be talking about our topics tonight. And if it's okay with you guys, I thought we would just kind of dive right into the Lord of the Rings. Because we have a lot to cover tonight, and I want to make sure we get all our topics in. So is that cool with you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So did you guys have a chance to look at, I'm not going to leave studio. I hate where that button is. I've yeeted myself from my own streams like 3 times now. It's really embarrassing.
Yep.
And she's like, and she's gone. Did you guys get a chance to read this article by Screen Rant about the Black Numenorians?
No,
I did.
I don't believe so.
I did.
No, see, so Roman did the homework.
I did the homework.
Nerd.
It was homework? I read it. Yeah, I read it. There was other stuff that Alasia and I talked about. What was it, yesterday that I dropped today? And this was kind of put on the back burner, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll just quickly go through this. It's quite short. But it's more nonsense coming from Amazon. And now, with this, in light of what the video that Salty and I did yesterday that he put out today about how the Fellowship of the Fans are now shilling for Amazon, those talking points that we were talking about, Salty, this, in light of that, makes even more sense now about what they're talking about. So essentially, what this article is basically setting up is that the Rings of Power is going to largely focus on the Numenorians that fell to basically the darkness, the ones that rebelled against the Valar, the ones that tried to sail to Valinor, and the ones that caused Numenor to be destroyed. And of course, that includes Ar-Pharazôn, which I think it's so amusing that they keep calling him king. And I'm like, Amazon's already told us that Ar-Pharazôn is not going to be the king. It's going to be his wife that he forced to marry him. I can't remember her name. Was it Mariel or something? So they're already contradicting. Sorry, go on.
Real quick, Alicia, then does that mean that when the king is deceived by, the deceived, I guess Sauron in disguise, and if we do see the fall of Numenor, does that mean that he's going to be a she and it's going to be a lesbian deception of Queen slash
Oh.
non-binary
You had to
Sauron?
say it.
Why not?
Oh.
Why not?
Somewhere out there, somebody's doing rewrites right now because they've just heard that.
Yes.
You know, that was a great idea. We should work that in.
Yeah.
No.
No
No.
kidding. I mean, he is the shapeshifter, and I'm sorry, like I said in my Celeborn video, the easiest way that they can get that in there is to play with Sauron's shapeshifting abilities. So I mean, I'm not going and here's the thing: when you read the Silmarillion and you read that last chapter, all Sauron had to do was just like poke him. Like the Númenóreans were already falling. Like they were falling into, I would say, they were falling for their own grandiose standing in Middle Earth. They were already falling into darkness. All Sauron had to do was like, you should go to Valinor. All he says is like, you should go get some ships. And Ar-Pharazôn was like, okay, I'll do it. It did not take much for Sauron to push them over that edge. But
well, Numenor at that time was so corrupt anyway. What's going on,
Yeah.
Johnny? Because Ar-Pharazôn was not the most, gracious and comforting of kings, and so Numenor was already kind of in the dumps of what it used to be. And so, like you said, Alasia, all it needed was just that one final push to really put them in deep. But yeah, I am interested, because if they do utilize his shape-shifting abilities, powers, whatever you want to call them, and we're getting a queen on the throne, are we going to see toxic masculinity try and sway her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's Salty. You unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Well, I sometimes just do that to mess with the host. But yeah, no, I mean, where I was going to go with that is that to me, and this is just my interpretation, I think we're going to see that heavy, this is the cost of being a colonizer, that your decadence with pushing your homogeneous, whatever, all the talking points thing. I think that's going to be really put into this, especially with the reveal that the Rings of Power is going to have the Eskimos of Arda, which two people actually on the video we dropped, Alasia, told me is a real thing, but they quoted a book that I haven't read, and it's one sentence in one appendice, and it's part B. So,
oh, good Lord. All right. Well, sorry. So going back to this article, and it's funny, you guys have hit on the very things that they're hinting around about. So essentially what they're setting up in this article is that they're saying that the Rings of Power is going to center around the Black Númenóreans. Now, I did look this up. Apparently, this is what they are called. However, that never appears in the books. This is something the internet unilaterally decided to distinguish them from the Faithful, which is Elendil's line, which remained faithful to Gil-galad and the Noldor in Lindon. So what this is setting up is that they're basically going to focus more heavily on these Black Númenóreans. And I'm just like, that's an interesting word choice. And what going through this article, and Roman, I know you read it, so please jump in with your thoughts. But ultimately, the way that they're setting up this sect of Númenóreans, the Númenóreans that fell to their own lustful desire for eternal life, it's going to make Sauron sympathetic. Like, this is the ultimate goal, is to make Sauron look sympathetic in regards to white man bad because they're colonizing Middle Earth. So I don't know, like, Roman, did you see that? But that was my ultimate takeaway from this article, is that Sauron is going to be a sympathetic character.
The thing that I got, this is just while I'm reading it, I'm thinking, the premise here could be so good, but your execution of it is going to be dreadful. Because watching the fall of the Númenóreans is an interesting thing to think about, but the idea of the colonization aspect of it, which is what you're talking about, that has absolutely zero appeal to me, and I think probably most of the actual Lord of the Rings fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, so what they go into is that, there's one instance in here. Let me see if I can find it. And because they talk about colonization, I was just like, oh boy, here we go. Let's see. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to speak to kind of what Roman was saying, in like on paper, which we have on paper from the Silmarillion and stuff, the Fall of Numenor should be one of the most like tremendous sequences on film we could ever possibly imagine seeing. And yet they're taking a different route with that, and it seems like it's going to be very downplayed, and they're going to try and make it about something else when the Fall of Numenor should be this momentous. I mean, it's the equivalency of Atlantis going under the sea and becoming Atlantis. Like that is one of the significant moments of the Tolkien universe. I shouldn't say universe because that sounds like I'm talking Marvel. Get out of here, Marvel. We want Legendarium. We don't want universes.
Mythos.
We want Mythos and Legendarium.
Max, you've got to bring comics into everything, mate, haven't you? Just like me.
Yeah, that's true, exactly. Yep.
Do you all think the reason for that is because Amazon doesn't have the rights for the Silmarillion, and that they're just kind of tell a story which is 25% different, and therefore wouldn't get a rights issue on that by depicting an event like that?
I don't think their motives are that noble, though. I mean, granted,
fair.
It meets the goal, but I don't think that's why they're doing it.
You mean they're just incompetent or ideologues? It's a legitimate question. Legitimate question.
Yeah.
And yes. The showrunners currently have not shown themselves to be particularly competent in just about any of the main, especially the big shows that are out there now. Look at the Wheel of Time. We've all talked about that.
Yeah.
They took a big dump all over the Wheel of Time, and they had the rights to that. So they're working with what they got.
Yep.
And you have some halfwit trying to put together something coupled with their wackadoo ideology. But that's just my opinion.
That you just described Rafe Judkins in perfect detail. Thank you for that.
Everyone take a drink. Take a shot. Salty, Wheel of Time. Here we go.
Ooh,
wait a second, Gray. My camera hasn't gone off yet. What are we taking a drink for? Come on. No, I'm kidding.
By the way, can I just say, guys, about going back to the interesting use of words, as you say, the black Numenorians, which I've never heard of before in the books. Why are they focusing on that? And are they going to be like black coloured? Are they going to be wearing black uniforms? Or is it more of a dark side theme to it? What's that all about?
So the way that I read it, after having, again, the Silmarillion is very fresh in my mind. The way I read it is that they're trying to make this white man bad. That's essentially the way. That's why they're choosing this phrase, is that it is white man bad. Sauron actually didn't do anything. The Numenorians were already falling into disarray. But I very much get the sense that they're trying to be like, the Numenorians, they're not all that. Like, they're not actually all that important, and they're actually really bad. Because if you look at here at this bit I've got highlighted, this is a down-and-out, bold-faced lie. The Numenorians tried to compensate for this by going eastward, looking for eternal life, and colonizing large parts of Middle-earth, initially attempting peaceful takeovers, that's bold,
Oh my God.
before ruling over their new colonies tyrannically. That is somewhat accurate. Yeah, I know, Max. It hurt. It hurt. Like, that hurt my gut.
I sure hope there are mostly peaceful protests in this version of Middle Earth.
Yes.
I really hope so.
Peaceful colonizing.
Yeah. Hashtag marginalized lives matter.
Yeah. Okay. So Arkansas is very knowledgeable. They are in the books, but they're not referred to in that way.
They're not called black.
They're not black. They're
No,
not called Black Numenorians.
They could have called them the Kingsmen.
Yes, that's exactly what they should have called them, as opposed to the Faithful, who was Randiel's line. So in any case, yeah. So, and what just bugs me about this colonizing thing is that they went back to Middle Earth. So after the fall of Morgoth, like, men regressed into like almost this animalistic tribal state, and the Numenorians were attempting to be like, okay, let's start writing things down. Here's how you use a pen. They were Tolkien describes them as being very gracious with the men of Middle Earth. Like, I don't know what the elves were doing. They were just kind of in their own, they were in, word just escaped me, but the Numenorians were attempting to like do good things for the Middle Earth. Now, eventually that did change and they started demanding tribute from them. But the fact that they're setting up already that them going to Middle Earth is already a bad thing is just, I'm just
You know
annoyed.
what? You know what's interesting too is that Halfbrand, the literal, you know, like great value brand Aragorn, which is what it looks like.
Yes!
Oh my god.
So it's
Costco
kind of
Aragorn.
ironic. The Costco Aragorn. The I think his name is Halfbrand or something like that. But what they could do is executives, don't listen to me. This is this is the wrong thing to do. But Halfbrand is technically shipwrecked. You know, he leaves Numenor and starts to, and that's where I believe he finds Galadriel on his way from Numenor. And they say that he's exiled, but I'm wondering if he's like, oh, well, the Numenorians are just terrible people, and I'm so much more, ethical and moral than they are. I wanted to get out of their sight because,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. So they could do this virtue signaling thing where Halfbrand is this hero for getting out of Numenor, leaving Numenor because of how terrible they are. And they deserve to be, the fall of Numenor because of their colonization and stuff. But now, Alasia, do you believe that the faithful are going to be portrayed as the evil doers, or do you believe that if we were to call them the faithful, or do you believe that the Kingsmen or the Black Numenorians are going to be considered as, the good guys or the bad guys or whatnot?
I don't know. I just think that they want to deconstruct all of the groups of people that we know in Middle Earth that were standing up defending Middle Earth from, like, say, Morgoth or Sauron. I feel like that they want all of them to be questionable in their goodness, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that they're going, Galadriel says that famous line, the hearts of men are easily corrupted. I think that they're going to take that idea and, like, if you give a mouse a cookie, they ask for a glass of milk, they're going to run with it just as fast as they can. I think that they're going to have to on some level show that these Black Numenorians as a juxtaposed to the faithful who make it back to Middle Earth, which is, Isildur's line. They're going to have to in some way make them look like good guys, bad guys. But again, I really think that they're going to be used as a vehicle to show that Sauron is not as bad as we think he is, if that makes sense.
How literal? Oh, sorry, Purple. Go ahead.
He's just misunderstood and never
Yes.
sympathetic.
Yeah.
And he's sexy. And he's sexy.
Exactly.
Do we think it's going to be as literal and in your face, and yes, get your drinks ready, as we saw in Wheel of Time, where it was the men whose hearts were corruptible, but the women are a whole other story? Do we think that they're going to go down this road with this? Because I do. I really do.
Yeah, the article refers to them as the scariest race of men.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There you go. The article we're talking about.
Yeah, there it is. Right there. And I mean, with the men that we have seen that they can be corrupted, like Boromir, but we also see one of the most heroic actions in the film franchise, which is Boromir's sacrifice. So we see both. We see that men can be, they can be corrupted, but that they can also be, what's the word I'm looking for, guys?
Brave. Yeah, redeemed.
Redeemed. Thank you. Yep, redeemed. Whereas this one, I will think, won't show the redeemable qualities or aspects of men. Because even Aragorn himself says, I would have followed you till the end, because he knows that at some point
Mhm.
that ring may corrupt him too. And so he knows that he has to let Frodo go, because he sees what evil it can do. So yeah, it's unfortunate that we have such great
Mhm.
aspirational qualities of men within the films and in the books, that will be, of course, tarnished again.
Yeah.
For
No, they want to
Strong.
dismantle it before that line even starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because yeah, this is all
You
prequel.
pull the rug out so that
Mhm.
Isildur and everybody of the line are already tainted, and that's
Yep.
what this
Mhm.
is going to establish. That
Except for the women.
Maybe I completely. Well, yeah, of course not the women.
Sorry, I say really obvious things all the
You know,
time, but yeah,
I'm out.
I know.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And not to, sorry, my brain jumped there for a second. I agree with you, Max. But it's funny, again, thinking kind of on my toes, you asked in the beginning, is Sauron like going to deceive Mariel, since they've changed it to where she's on the throne, not Ar-Pharazôn, and marrying her against his, and that he's going to be an advisor or a counselor. So I don't know what language they used, but he's not the bad, awful man that forced his cousin to marry him. I bet you anything, I would be willing to put money down on this, that what they're going to do is take her character and make and be like, you shouldn't be listening to this man. I don't want him here. She's going to be the one who sees through Sauron. She's going to be the one who knows bad things are happening. And it is all going to be Ar-Pharazôn's fault, which technically is not inaccurate. But I bet you the way that they've changed their dynamic in their marriage, that she's going to be the strong woman who ultimately dies because of man's treachery.
Yeah, there's so many different ways that it could be shown.
Mhm.
That corruption could be shown.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that no matter what happens between Ar-Pharazôn and Silky Sauron, excuse me, sorry, Sexy Sauron. I've got Silkies on the brain.
I don't do.
But yeah, even if we get Silky Sauron or whoever it is that comes into this thing and into the fold, we can rest assured that yes, the queen will always know what's right. She will always make the right decision. She will never have to go through any struggle. And the only thing that's going to hold her back is either her husband or advisor or whatever role they make him, play in. So it's like, it
Sounds like
really,
you're describing Captain Marvel.
yeah. And you know what's wild is like, I don't even think that at this point we're able to write this stuff on our own now. And when it happens, people think that it's this big bait and switch, but we're writing the story right now.
Yeah.
And we may very well
Yeah.
see that same thing played out.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't take a lot of talent to create that subversion, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, you just cut and paste from the last thing that they destroyed.
Exactly. Just go to the worst case scenario, and there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I will not be surprised at all if Galadriel comes off somewhat like Rey.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, okay. So again, this is a test stream. I am learning things. Chat, I promise I'm not like blowing you off. I'm doing my best here. This is overwhelming, and I did not expect this many people. So because I don't have the upgraded version of Stream, whatever I'm on, Yards, I can only bring so many people in. I'm annoyed by this. I'm just going to upgrade really fast. Can you guys just vamp for a second while I do this so I can get Tugs in here? Because I know she's like, I want to talk.
Yeah. Max,
Okay,
Max,
so-
give us a preview of those silkies while Alesia's
I will
Please
beat
don't.
you from this stream, both of
Please
you.
don't.
Boot Salty now. Boot him out of here, quick.
All I do
don't
is
see-
spread joy. All I do is
Yeah.
spread joy, and this is the text that I get. I don't get it.
Love you, bro.
Guys, we need to talk about something before we move on to the next topic, and that's silkies in live streams. All right,
Yes.
that's it's the sexism in gaming topic, but silkies in live streams.
Roman's shaking his head, Max. Roman's like, what have I got myself into?
I'm actually here this time. I'm not just a chat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. This is actually
You get to see the face when you're talking about it now.
Roman. This might be our first live stream together, which is great.
This is our first live stream together. You're
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, me
right.
too.
All right.
Oh,
Whilst
no.
I'm
It is.
doing this,
Well,
if y'all need
feels so
something
natural.
other than Silkies to talk about, here, chat. I'm gonna upgrade so I can get Tugs in here. Have fun with this one because this is I don't even know. This is like I vomited in my mouth when I saw this. So you guys chat for a second.
There's more to it too. Yeah, there's more to
Oh,
this.
no.
It's been interesting since they announced that they were going to be the conduit or partner of Amazon, and their tenor and their content has changed, which I'm,
Oh,
they reached out to me and said they will come on a live stream with us guys. So
Wow.
we're going to talk to these guys, Fellowship of the Fans, about this stuff. But it is very interesting. It's very interesting.
Why do none of the actors look like they want to
They're-
be there? They've all got this bored look on their face every single promo picture that's been released.
I feel so awkward. I wish they hadn't taken the picture. I wish I could be anywhere else. Maybe in another show.
I think he's
Yeah.
not happy
Also-
because he's got to wear a long-haired wig. He wants the short hair, the buzz cut, which is very popular. It's trending now with elves.
It's like the early 90s. They've got the little shaved like initials on the side of their head and everything like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, there's no way this is the actual actor, right? This looks super photoshopped. Or is this like the actor, but he's in like a? Did they Photoshop his head onto something?
Looks
or-
like video game footage.
That's what I thought too. I
Yeah.
thought it was a video game.
Does everybody
okay.
remember the Lenny Henry Hobbit photo that we had a while back?
It's purple.
yeah.
3 months ago, 4 months ago.
It does very much look like that. Oh
Okay.
no! See now we're in trouble.
Oh no!
No.
Now
we
we're
got-
now we're in
We
big
got
trouble.
ourselves here.
Now we got trouble.
I was
in
not
the
expecting
show.
that, but I'm gonna tell y'all
Oh.
right now. I sent Max a photo of me in a sundress, so I feel like I'm owed a Silky photo.
Uh-oh.
Fair is fair,
Oh.
You
fair.
are not helping.
Fair is fair. Fair is fair.
To
Equality.
be
I'm just saying.
well, speaking of fairness, to be fair, my chat was also saying, yes, we want to see Tugs in a sundress. And so chat has
Totally different.
openly spoken about me and Silky. So this is gonna happen, guys. So
Yes.
it's gonna
And when I
Alicia, what's
bleach my
happened to your
eyebrows-
stream?
I will
I'm-
donate to your channel for that not to happen, Max.
It's
Yeah, I will
happening.
too.
Oh, he's monetized tomorrow. He's in trouble. I'm just saying.
yeah.
I already
We're
got it.
gonna
I want my photo. A posed one. Anyway, hi.
oh
Hi, dear.
Hello.
All right, on the
We've all
note,
seen
real
that Burt
quickly-
Reynolds picture.
What's
That
that?
is a
Don't-
genius idea.
don't give her ideas. Do
Oh,
not
it's
give her
happening.
ideas.
I am on it
happening?
right now. I'm on it right
No,
now.
no.
I want it. Yep.
The
Okay,
deep
on the
fakes.
note of
Using my
donations,
power for evil instead of good.
on the note of donations, I am not paying attention. I've got a couple, and oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. From Cajun Corey, great Alasia used the money to purchase a sundress.
Yes.
Hey, he's not wrong.
See?
That's a great.
See?
That's a great.
Sundresses and silkies.
There you go.
Wait, are we going to get to see Max in a sundress? I'm confused
Oh, see,
now.
I pay for that.
Tugs, what have you started? What have you started? Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is what happens whenever I come into a stream. If I'm in the chat where I'm on this, I mean, it just chaos ensues. I don't know why anybody invites me anywhere, to be honest.
It's
Yeah,
so-
Dawn, this is normal for us. This is completely normal. Max and Tugs
Hi, Dawn.
always do this.
We always kind of get everyone off topic. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Okay, let me read one more donation. Salty Texas for 5. Thank you so much. Thanks for the invite and such a fan. And cool follow-up and content creator. Well, thank you for taking me under your wing and shoving me in the directions that I needed shoving. So thank you for all your guys' support. So anyways, okay, off the topic of sundresses. Okay, fine, Kojin. I will buy a fucking sundress. I already have 2 of them. I got one.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You can't swear like that on YouTube, Alasia.
No,
You're not Ryan
30
Kimmel.
minutes in. We're 30 minutes in. It's all good. YouTube's
You know what
all
I would
good.
like to know? Why
Oh,
is
is
this
Susan
guy's
not watching?
photo so photoshopped? Like, they're the filter on this photo. Is this an
I
actual?
know, right?
Is this
Yeah.
an actual advertising? Like, Why?
I don't think it looks. Is it a? I don't think it's actually a photo. It looks like a painting.
It's Photoshop
Yeah.
for sure, but
Digital
it looks like he's got a
representation?
filter on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hell of a grinder profile picture, though. God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh no!
Well, and like
Yeah.
what I just okay, so
I
not
like
only,
stokies and sundresses.
yeah.
Swipe
Um,
right. No.
So he's looking for a talisman. There were no talismans mentioned as far as I know in any of the books. I don't know where they're
Is that
what
a
they're getting
euphemism?
that. This guy's name is literally father in Elvish.
Is he? Oh, so they're gonna call him Daddy.
Hey!
Oh my!
Obviously, it's better than
See, you guys thought the grinder thing was over the line, and yet here we are.
No,
And
no.
here we are.
No,
Oh
actually,
Daddy
my-
Daddy.
Daddy.
right on spot now.
So now I believe that the talismans would potentially be one of the Silmarils. Alasia, what do you think? Is that too far
No,
fetched?
because all the Silmarils are gone by this point. So one's in the sky with Elrond's father. One's in
Okay.
the sea because was it Medros who threw himself into the sea? No, Medros threw himself into a volcanic pit because he felt so bad he'd left Elros and Elrond alone. And then his brother, whose name I'm blanking on, threw himself into the sea. So it was part of the prophecy that the Silmarils would become part of Earth, water, and sky. So the Silmarils are all gone by this point.
Okay.
So like talisman, I can't even think because
Here's
all the Palentials are with the Numenorians.
we did get a leak on this on Adar back in February.
That's
In
true,
the same,
yeah.
in the same person who called the casting and said that this actor was going to play this character said he was going to become a leader of a band of orcs, in that the leak is that he is going to be tortured and mutilated to become the foundation of what the elves were to become.
Spoilers.
So
Salty
he-
spoilers. Wow.
So he really would be Daddy. He would be the daddy of all
Daddy
orcs
orc.
because Daddy
Yeah.
Orc, yeah, because he
Yeah.
would be the first.
Well, and
Yeah.
obviously
Alright.
can't be Arondir because
Yeah.
Arondir is of a certain ethnic persuasion that wouldn't sit well with anybody.
Oh my!
Well, yeah, because then that would actually be very racist. So, 'cause
Just
that-
a tiny bit.
yeah,
But they set themselves up for that because he is Sindarian anyways. So they walked into that one.
They also have him-
Malaysia, the untamable life in the chat is suggesting possibly the Arkenstone, just as an idea.
oh,
Talisman.
interesting.
Where is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Possibly the
that could be.
Arkenstone,
Yeah.
I'd buy that. I would buy
I'm-
that.
I'm just
It wouldn't
saying what
surprise
the
me. I'll
rumor
go for
was. Yeah, what the rumor was. That's all. I mean, and who knows?
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
here we go.
Yeah.
Certainly
this-
not Amazon yet.
At least
It's in the safe hands with Payne and McKay. What could go wrong? Come on, guys.
I'm kidding.
the safe.
What could possibly go wrong, Salty?
So,
At least
anyways,
this is kind of there is a good there is hope in the fact that what we're doing right now is talking logistics. We're talking actual scripture. We're talking, okay, is this the Silmarils? Is this the Arkenstone? Is this, we're speculating. That's what fans have always done from the beginning of time. So I'm hoping that there is some sort of payoff. Because most of the time when fans talk about movies now, it's how can we subvert so-and-so character? How can we change this character arc or whatever? Instead of the actual fans speculating, oh, is this going to be Green Lantern from Space Sector 2814? Or is this going to be Green Lantern? Like all the kind of different speculations that you can make as a fan. So it does get you talking. It just, I hope that continually it's about the right things, because it's always, what Amazon is doing is getting us talking about the wrong things because of the
Absolutely.
way that they've marketed and the way that they've portrayed this new show.
And they didn't
They
help
haven't-
themselves. And they didn't
No.
help themselves what they released from the Fellowship of the
Exactly.
Fans. And I have nothing against them. I don't. It is just very concerning to see that even in their refutation, not once did they say, you're going to love what we made. And don't
Mm.
worry, those people who are book readers and who love the films, you are going to
Yes.
love this world. They just said the reason, like, we're doing this because, and there were no statements about this is going to bring glory to Tolkien at all.
It was never, we never got any reassurance. And that's exactly what you're saying, Salty, is that reassurance of, if you know you have a good product, you are going to tell your customer, trust me. I guarantee this is going to work for you. I want to sell this to you because it's going to benefit you in the long run. This is the product that I believe in. But when you make excuses for your product, you know you can't sell that thing. You know what I mean? So that's a great point. We need that reassurance.
You're talking like all of Marvel Phase 4 right now. Everything they came out with.
Yeah.
You've never heard anything about the films. You heard all about either why the fans were wrong or why diversity was so much better than actual material. And that's what Amazon's lining us up for from the get-go. They've already gotten us going down that path. And we're hoping, we're hanging on to the rails of the car, hoping it's not going to fly off the cliff, but I'm pretty sure we're going off the cliff.
Yeah. In the statement that, again, the Fellowship of the Fans put out, and again, this is nothing against them, they were given this message, was that we hope that you will appreciate all of the representation that has nothing to do with any of the previous, main characters, with all of our reaching out there and grabbing the stuff that is found in the appendices. That's what it sounded like, as opposed to you're going to recognize everything and it's going to you're just going to feel right at home.
Yeah.
The Fellowship of the Fans sounds like the negative evil opposite of the fandom menace.
I do look forward to talking to them because I'd like for them to sort of explain themselves. And everyone on this panel, is welcome for that. Everyone.
That'll be interesting.
And
that was what happened with Ragnarok too. That's when I knew Ragnarok was going to be a bad movie. And not just because it was actually a bad movie, but that was all their excuses was.
No way, you didn't like it, Tugs. Didn't like it. You didn't like it, Ragnarok. He's got Tessa Thompson in it. Come on, she's amazing. She's the best actress ever.
I have nothing against her or anybody specifically except for Taika. Taika?
Oh,
Taika.
It was his fault.
I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby. Isn't that the song?
Yeah, that's what he said. And I was like, oh boy, this movie's going to set. I went in there hoping beyond hope. But you're right. I mean, you're right, because that's how they described Ragnarok too. It wasn't, don't worry, we're going to honor Norse lore, which is a real thing. And we're going to honor you guys. It's going to be fine. We're going to respect everything. Nope, they did not once. It was, well, you don't like Tessa Thompson because she's this. And you don't like Taika whatever because he's this. And you don't like Thor being funny because you can't adapt the fact that a god would adapt to human speak. I'm like, oh God, here we go.
They've got an excuse for everything, yeah.
And that's what they're going to do with this. I'm convinced of it, even though it never works. There is not another playbook. There's just not. Or we could have the showrunners do what Rafe Judkins from the Wheel of Time did, because you have a Wheel of Time thing up, I get a pass, where if the fans complain too much, he's going to make more characters gay to punish us. That's what he said. And you can really tell when a showrunner loves the source material when they
he actually came out and said that. That's official, isn't it, Salty? That's crazy. Crazy.
Oh my gosh. Hold on just 1 second, guys. Just hold on 1 second. David, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, David. David for $100.
Wow.
Whoa!
Now you have to get that contract.
Huge. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, David, thank you so much.
Congratulations
on your first Chill stream. Thanks for being another voice in a voice of sanity in a time when our beloved venues of escapism are being destroyed for the message. God bless you, David. Thank you so much.
Everyone clip that, post that. Yep. Yeah, this is
David, you're welcome on my channel anytime, mate.
Just say you realize that they just made another gay character because of that.
So you have to buy those fancy ones you were showing me now.
I do. I can get one of those really, really pretty sundresses now. Okay, I'm just gonna
lovely.
Again, Max is like, excuse me?
Well, if you buy a sundress with donation money, it has to be worn on a stream. That's just
Yes.
Are you saying
those are the rules?
Or just a stream?
Just a stream. I mean, because whether you guys like it or not, I bought those silkies with your donation money, so I have to wear those.
I want my money back. I want my money back now.
I don't. I want my selfie though.
Yeah, I'm wondering, what is
Hey,
there like?
no one's
should there
posted that
be-
Burt Reynolds picture yet.
Uh,
I
no.
can't find a deep fake to work with, but I'm working on it. Don't worry.
Yes. Tag me
so-
in that.
Salty's this whole time like trying to hack into this.
What
What do you
Okay,
think
let's
of
let
the
Alasia
What do you
take
think
control.
of-
Alasia, go.
I know. Roman, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. Well, thank you for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And then Blair to Blair, thank you so much. Here's for more live streams for you from Blair to Blair. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then Bruce Lombardo, I believe is how, of Dick's Division.
Chris.
Want a mini printer from your panel? A mini printer? I don't know. You'll have to tell me more about a mini printer. I'm not knowing what that's entailing. But thank you so much for the donation. I deeply appreciate it. Chat, thank you, thank you all so much for being here. I thought I'd have like 5 people. I didn't think I'd have this many people.
Surprise! I bribed
no.
everybody. I'm just kidding. No, you got them.
What did you bribe them with? We're gonna have a discussion
Violence.
about this.
Show up or else?
She bribed them with. She bribed them with the reassurance that I might wear silkies, and so
Yes,
if-
and we want Arkasul and I want signed photos.
Oh god.
Alasia, what are you saying? What's wrong with 5 people? That's my stream regularly. 5 people. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? 5 people watching?
That's not how I meant it. I never thought I'd have to like manage this many people. I'm freaking out a tiny bit, but thank you.
Oh my god,
thank-
Bruce! Yes, Max, you need to get a Tom Selleck mustache to go with your silky.
No, I swear to God, I will drive to San Diego and I will kill you myself. I don't care how big you are.
No, that's dope. That's dope.
Let's do it!
See that I can't,
Dude.
because that's actually like an article of clothing I can take off and it's a joke, whatever. But if I actually shave like my mustache into a Tom Selleck mustache, like that's a total change for like months that you guys are gonna have to live with. So
We'll be all right.
No, thank
It
you.
grows back.
we'll be
Do
all
it.
right.
Tom
Do
Selleck, look, Tom Selleck has dominated the most attractive man charts for decades for a reason. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
Has he?
Yeah.
Has
I
he
don't know
dominated
who
your
you're talking
charts,
about.
Max?
He's dominated my wall, my wall charts when I have him up on my wall as a poster.
And again, it just got creepy. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's talk about domination. Domination?
Deep fake incoming. Deep fake incoming.
I don't want to know
Oh,
about I don't want to
boy.
know what
Here we
Max is
go.
dominating. Chris Arcella for $10. Have some support from me, Alasia. Also, Max, my statue collection triumphs yours. That is true. Yeah. You need to see Chris's statue collection. You guys need to do like.
Oh, Arcella.
Yeah, Arcella's his statue collection is deeply impressive. Chris, you need to like post that.
Chris, my brother in Christ, with all peace and love, my
Oh.
friend.
He went
Do you
there.
see the display behind me? I know it's not lit up right now, but granted, he does have the same statue as I do. He has the Silver Surfer one over here, but my man, we got to go head to head because this is
I think
that's a bold statement. It's a bold statement.
Go ahead.
But all
and
peace
check
and
the,
love. Peace
Go
and
ahead and check the Twitter link, Alasia's Twitter link to the show.
Okay.
You will find
Oh,
a
no.
magical toy surprise attached.
Wait, what?
love. Do I want to?
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
Max Reynolds.
No, nothing but
Oh,
love, dude.
man.
Nothing but love, Max. You know
Nothing
that.
but love. Peace and love. So do I have to retweet this now?
Yes,
I'm not.
Yes.
We need to put it on screen though for those people who aren't on social
All right.
media. It is friendly.
Retweet it.
I ran it through
Fine.
the adult reviewer, so you're fine.
Yeah, he cut off all the good parts.
Yeah.
Ladies.
I'll be saving that one. Thank you, Salty.
Yeah. There you go.
You are so beautiful.
Oh,
To
that is a
Oh,
handsome man. I'm just waiting for the Smokey and the Bandit remake now. Damn.
Max, you've gone red. You're blushing, baby.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. I want this hung up in my house.
I can make that. I can make that happen. I can get you a large
Wait,
size
can you-
print,
wait.
brother.
Max, can you sign some copies? Giveaways on your screen.
Yeah, we'll go to Vegas, and Ryan
Lord.
Ryan will have those like little what he had, the little printouts photos that he had, and I'll have
Yes.
He's gonna have
this,
these.
and I'll just hand these out. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then when you get
So-
arrested, I'm not posting your bail.
I will. This is
Tugs,
fine.
Tugs, can you send me a signed photo of Ryan? I'd love to get one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have one. You want one?
Okay,
I
thanks,
have one.
darling. No, I'm
I
joking.
have
I'm joking.
one.
Okay, so all right, so this is like
Wow.
slowly spiraling out of control. Dear heavens above. Okay.
It belongs in the Louvre, honestly.
Oh boy. Okay, what do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk about strip clubs or do you want to talk about the Northman?
Do we have to choose? Can we just talk about both?
I
Or-
think
okay.
what you want to start with, I think, is
Both
probably
at the
her,
same time.
her actual- at the same time. Oh, interesting.
Okay, so let's move on to strip clubs. Because Roman said he had a 45-minute dissertation planned.
Whoa.
So I'm gonna throw this out there and then I'm gonna be quiet because I want to hear what your all's thoughts are on this. I'm gonna say that I wholeheartedly agree with this statement. That would be the end of it. Like, I would ditch this man so very fast. It would make his head spin. But I also understand that I have some outdated and slightly prudish views of society and that I can be a little uptight. But I think that this is a step too far. So, but I would be interested to know like what you guys think about this. So yeah, I'm just gonna be quiet and let you guys talk.
Actually, as the most aged member of the panel here, and I've been married for almost 33 years. It'll be 33 years this year. When you say you have outdated ways of thinking about this, I think you're completely wrong about that. This idea of the going to the strip club thing was a lot more common in the Wayback Machine. Not a euphemism. So in modern times, that's not what the young folk are doing. I mean, I'd be very surprised if that's like still a thing.
Mhm.
The world isn't really just set up like that, you know, where everybody's dressed in suits and ties and they're letting loose. Because that's not really, the world is pretty loose as it is. So the idea that you let more loose, I think is probably not a proper notion that most people would go for. I mean, a lot of folks aren't getting married today anyway, but the folks that are, I don't think this is something that you know, a bear trap probably going to stumble into. Probably not. And if the guy is very insistent on it, he's probably kind of a weirdo. Now, his friends may drag him along. That's neither here nor there. That's not really what we're talking about. It's like, if he really wants to go do this, that's kind of an oddball thing in modern times. And that's again, that's my take on it. I'm old, married, a former sailor. So that's my outlook.
Mm.
I wasn't quite 45 minutes.
No, I think that's well spoken, because, like you said, this isn't necessarily a thing of a thing of the past or a thing of the future. Like, one of the things that resonated that I heard you say was that sometimes guys will kind of drag the bachelor to
Yeah.
the strip club.
Mhm.
That's a lot of times, these guys are all riled up. They've got drinks in them. They're kind of like they're wanting the best for their buddy. They want to show him a good time. And sometimes the bachelor or the one who's about to get married is just kind of like, I'm not really feeling it, but they go anyway because they want to have fun with their friends and the guys.
And they don't want to disappoint their buddies.
Yeah.
But
Right.
again, I still don't think that's in my experience. But again, that's just the people who I know. I'm old, so that I know older people.
I think it also depends on the intention. Because Alasia, like, this is it's pretty black and white. However, or this tweet is very black and white. It's if this is the cause, this is the action, or if this is the action, then this is the reaction. But if your soon to be husband is going with the intention of, hey, I'm gonna get one last little night with someone by going to this strip club,
Yeah.
maybe that's the wrong intention. If he's going to the strip club for the intention of, this is what you do, which still isn't a great excuse, but I'm just saying if his intentions are harmless, I think there is some gray here. But for the most part, if we are talking black and white, yeah, why would he want to go see other women at a club?
Exactly.
As opposed to yourself. But so I think it's all in the intention.
When I talked with Alasia about this, I flipped the tables, and I said, what if a woman was going to a male review? Would I want my fiance going drunk to a male review? And there may be some things of adult natures out there with dancing bears and things like that. And that's like the last thing any of us want to have our future wife participate in. You know what I mean? So,
I didn't want to know what that means, Salty.
it's all pure. It's from Disney. Don't worry. It's from Disney.
Oh boy.
This is definitely bad.
That's not pure.
Actually, it's got so much worse when you said that.
I know. It's dark.
Never forget the last time I went to a Dancing Bears strip club. Mamma mia, that was a crazy night.
Gray is actually maybe the craziest one on this panel because he messages me last weekend or something, and the only thing he says is he just goes, "I'm so hungover," and then he sent me the StreamYards link. I unfortunately I couldn't make it, but I was like, man, Gray's having a great time this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Tugs, what are your thoughts? Your nose was crinkled. I want to hear what you have to say.
I live in the strip club capital of the world, Las Vegas.
Ooh.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I have watched more marriages, engagements, whatever, end over strip clubs and New Year's Eve fights than anything else. And that goes for the women too, because I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you something about these Thunder from Down Under shows and stuff, the male review, as you like to say. I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. The Thunder from Down Under, Chippendales, all that, they party with you after the show.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bar. They always have their shows near bars, usually across, like literally you walk out of the theater, there's a bar right there, and they will advertise, we'll be at the bar, we're going to take shots, blah, 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 this and any other. You want to talk about trouble? It's trouble. Been there, done that. They come and party, and they party. They will do shots with you. They get drunk. The women that go there obviously are dressed a certain way. The bachelorette parties they aim for on purpose. It is what it is. But if you use the excuse of, well, it's my last hurrah because I'm only going to see one woman for the rest of my life, then you don't need to be getting married because you're not ready for marriage.
Exactly.
Yes.
I agree.
And that goes for
Absolutely.
anybody. And whether you love the person or not, it doesn't matter. If that's, well, it's my last hurrah. Okay. I just went to a wedding last weekend. The bachelor, my roommate's brother, he took and had their bachelor party at Topgolf.
Yeah.
No women involved. Just a bunch of dudes hanging out.
You
In a bear
shouldn't
suit?
want, you shouldn't want nor feel like you need a last hurrah if you've already found your last hurrah. Like
Yeah.
if
Bingo.
you found
Bingo.
the
There you
woman
go.
that you're
Bring
like,
that down.
okay, like here you go. This is who I want to be with, then there shouldn't really be any other. Now, not to say there will be temptation, because that is sin. That is the world. That is Instagram. That is OnlyFans. That is everything. There will always be temptation. But if for the time that you are with your soon-to-be wife, if you don't feel that with her, then yeah, you shouldn't need that last hurrah. I will say though, Tugs, there is a role reversal with that strip club thing, because if a guy touches a female stripper or lady of the night or performer, dancer, whatever, that dude is getting kicked out so fast he won't even be able to see who took him out of there.
Yeah.
Granted,
I never
it's
understood that, to be honest, but
well,
I guess it's
'cause
because you guys are a little bit more deviant than we are. But that's not true either, because
well, I mean, because men also probably have more of a dominating feature about them, and so they can physically, do some more harm to a female. So that's probably why they have the bouncers there or whatever. But you would never see a female stripper, partying with the male guys without A, getting tips, or B, having a bouncer there to protect them. So
Champagne
there is
room.
a bit of
Champagne room.
the VIP
here's
room.
the other thing too. If you are with your buddies and they plan, like you guys threw out, like, what if it's a surprise and he doesn't know? The minute you express, I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to do this, and they don't immediately go, yo, bro, I'm so sorry, let's figure out something else. What else do you want to do? They're terrible friends and they shouldn't be in your circle.
Yeah.
It is a.
Or if you say beforehand, I don't want to do a strip club, I don't want a stripper at the house, I don't want to go to a strip club, period, and they do it anyway, they disrespect your boundaries, wash your hands of those people. You can get new ones. Because
Fair.
listen to your friends. They have boundaries. I'm just saying. That's a
Great.
boundary.
Are there like more exotic nightclubs and strip joints in Japan that are fairly popular, or like are they publicized at all?
It goes back to what you were just saying. There's a very strict rule about you can look but you can't touch, kind of thing. So I've not seen, not where I live. I'm in a small town, but in the bigger cities, there's escort bars are more popular. They call them snack bars. It's basically you go to a place, you can sing karaoke, you pay by the hour, you get your drinks poured for you, and you get the company of a lady, you know, and they just talk to you. And it's very, very strict about look, but you know, don't touch.
Yeah, if you watch Tokyo Vice on HBO right now, it's a really good series. That there's a lot of what Gray was just talking about based in that show. Yeah, it's a fantastic series.
Sounds good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Like a bit
Purple,
of Tokyo Vice, baby.
Purple, you can awfully quiet. What do you think, lady?
I would be I kind of agree with the rest of you guys. I mean, I wouldn't be marrying someone if I didn't trust them, but it's equally important to, you know, if they're being ambushed by their friends and they're being taken to this strip club and they haven't been told, if they are uncomfortable and they say so, then I agree with Tugs. You know, boundaries have to be respected, because you're just asking for trouble else.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happens in Vegas and or the strip club goes on the internet, people. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Somebody's always filming somewhere, so be careful.
Yeah.
Be very
So
careful.
like, and you know, the thing is, and I agree with you, Max, that it's a pretty black and white statement, and you know, I brought up this one, but we're approaching the hour mark, so I don't know if we'll get into this, but the thing is, for me, it's like you should have had that discussion with your fiance, or if you've gone to marital counseling, or you're talking about the ring, you need to have that discussion before you even, you know, get to your date. Like that's a thing that should be talked about before you even get to the aisle. So because what we've talked about so much in society and culture is that communication is so lacking from everything we do. But I am very much of the opinion you shouldn't need a last hurrah if you found your forever person. So that's what bugs me about it. And you know, and I agree with you also, Max, that there's give and take in that statement. You know, if his friends forced him into it, then that, you know, but also, you know, being open, like, look, I didn't want to go. They bullied me into it, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting statement. Evie is interesting because they're the magazine that Gina was in, their first print issue Gina was in. Their tweets very rarely get that level of traction, but oh boy, howdy did they make everybody the comment section was so entertaining to watch. And she was going through, I don't know if it was just the one girl, but they were going through and like just blasting people out of the water. It was interesting to see because they generally don't get that level of that level of interaction. So I thought it was interesting, and you know, I wanted to hear other people's takes on it, because again, I feel like I'm prudish and old-fashioned. Other people have said there's no such thing and that society needs my moral center again. So I don't know, but there's give and take in everything. So yeah. And real quick, sorry, go ahead.
You've got a chat that wants you to go longer, and I'm going to encourage that, but it's your show. I just think you've got 30 people turning out here, and
trust me, we have a whole discussion
that is
about
amazing. That is amazing.
Thank you, I know.
And that is all you, Alasia.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I do have a couple more donations. I don't know. I don't feel like I deserve this.
You do.
Don Howell. Don, thank you so much for 1954. Hi, I know Alasia. Will know I tipped this. I know why Alasia will. Okay. I'm blanking on that right now, Don, but I've found with live streams, you forget the English language and your brain doesn't function. So
yes.
I'm sure I'll send you later.
Like 1954 is very specific.
Stream brain is 100% a thing.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah, I will forget words that are very common in
it's
English.
hilarious. Nightmare.
When Matt starts speaking Swedish.
Then
Yeah, that's exactly when I have a brain aneurysm and I start saying hergy burgy borgy. Yep, that's
that's when we know we've lost him. And
Yeah.
then Squeak a Mouse, thank you so much, darling. Best book friend ever. Girl, I have got books for days for you, so don't you worry, you'll never be bored.
It's true. See, exactly.
Yes. See, and that's the thing. There are so many other things. Like, okay, this is gonna sound so weird, but my pastor in my youth group at Calvary Church here in Albuquerque, his bachelor party. So he was walking out to his car late at night in Albuquerque, which I don't know. This was probably not the best idea in the whole wide world. They put a hood over his head.
Oh my
threw him
God.
in the front of the car, drove him up to the crest of the Sandias, took him out, slapped him with fishes, and then prayed over him.
What?
Oh,
What the?
Wait, did he come home with all of his organs though? Did
Yeah,
he, did he come home?
Good,
Okay,
that's
all right,
good.
okay.
At least
Oh my
that's good.
God.
that's
my gosh.
one way of celebrating,
Oh.
I guess.
That's not
Oh,
celebrating.
thank you,
That's a felony.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's hazing. In the military, Roman, that's what's called hazing. If I'm
Yeah,
right.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, they hate
Going to
him.
the break for that.
Mhm.
It was
No.
it was a church thing. I don't know why. I don't
It
know
was
why
a
they
church
did it
thing.
with fishes. That was the weird part. I could see kidnapping someone, but slapping them with fishes just was
It
like
was a
step
fish.
far
Isn't
from
that
it.
it's the fish though? That's a religious the fish on
Well,
the back.
Jesus
Fish.
fish.
Yeah, but why did they have to
Jesus.
slap it with it?
Maybe they were trying to get
power
the
of
power
Christ
of Christ
compels you.
compelling him. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I need a young priest, an old priest, and a fish.
Yeah.
It brings new meaning to the term holy mackerel. That's all. I'm
Oh.
Where's the
Well
soundbite?
done. I know.
Yeah.
I don't have any
But,
of the fancy things.
We want a herring. Yes, we want a herring.
It's all a red herring for good. You guys ever been slapped by a fish? Come on, you're missing out.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Is
not.
that a euphemism for something? I'm
I
just
want to go
saying.
partying with Gray. Just saying.
I know.
Christians,
when
man?
we
You gotta
were-
watch out for them.
Salty, what show were we on that Gray was on? And every time we talked about like nudity in the movie, Gray
Oh,
was
it
like,
was mine. It was the Tuesday live stream 3 weeks ago where he's like,
Yeah.
"There's nudity, and we want to see more." And Gray's kind of a randy gentleman. Let's just say
Yeah,
that he's
I
very
love it.
randy.
I've
I
not heard that
appreciate
word
it.
for a long time.
You
Randy,
guys thought
wow.
about me.
Randy's actually the name of my uncle. He was pretty randy too.
Oh,
oh no.
runs in the family then. Bravo.
Oh dear.
That's pretty funny.
Okay. So, anyways, so moving on from slapping people with fishes. Let's talk the Northman because Tugs and I have thoughts. I think.
I think you have
Awesome.
more thoughts than I do.
Well, I will
I didn't
to
think
kind
you were
of
gonna like it, to be honest. I told my chat today, I was like, I don't think Alasia's gonna like this movie. And I wanted to tell you that yesterday, but I didn't want to discourage you from going to see it. I didn't think you were gonna like it.
Yeah, I thought you weren't going to see it, Elijah. I thought you were like, no, it's not for me.
No, I was like, no, I need to suck it up, and also I had a free movie, so a movie ticket. So I was like, if I hate it, it's not a loss.
There you go, solid. It's Max's fault.
It
Convinced
is
everybody
Max's
to
fault.
see
It's
it.
everything's is Max's fault. Let's be honest. It's always his fault. So
most of
No,
the
No,
time.
blame Salty, I think.
yeah,
okay,
just
I will
do it. Just do that.
Yeah. I will say I liked it. I didn't love it, but I definitely feel like this is a dude movie. This is a guy's movie. It's not necessarily aimed. I don't feel like, and Purple, jump in here, but I don't feel like it's necessarily aimed quite as much at women as it is at men.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. I think it was definitely a very masculine film. I went at it more because I was a fan of the director, rather than because I knew what the film was going to be about. But
Bob Iger.
it's definitely I would say it's almost a new kind of Conan. It's not quite up there with Conan, but it's in that kind of league. That kind of hyper masculine film that we've heard or that we haven't had for a while.
Spoiler warning, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, I'm just gonna, before we get too deep into it, just an announcement. If you have not seen this movie,
Yes.
you plan on seeing it, you don't want to be spoiled. Goodbye. Thank you
Yes.
for being here.
Please leave.
Okay, I see you later. I'm going now.
Oh no.
Bye-bye.
Did you ever get a release date, Gray? Because we were talking about it last week that there's no release date for Japan for the Northman.
No, it's so annoying. There's still no release date. Japan,
surprise
Korea,
me.
and I think China. Well, China, no surprise there, is there? But there's no release date for it. So I wanted to see it legally. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to see it officially and like support the director because I think he's a brilliant director. But I can't see it yet at the cinema.
Well, great. If you want to duck out, you are. I don't want to. I'm sorry. I hadn't even realized that. I hadn't even thought of that.
No, I'm good. I don't
You're
mind.
good?
I want
Okay.
to stay.
Okay.
Don't
all right.
don't kick me out,
No,
Alicia.
you're
Don't kick me
okay.
out.
No, you're fine. You know what stood
Be
out to
gone.
me? What stood out to me about this film? I mean, that opening raid is brutal. Like, to me, that was probably the most brutal part. I mean, the bodies being nailed to the side of the building, that was disgusting. But the
Oh, you mean
opening,
the raid where we first meet him?
yeah,
when he's an
yeah,
adult?
the-
adult
he's
house.
I was like, dang.
The Berserker
Yeah.
raid. The Berserker raid is so good.
yeah.
Berserker
But what
raid,
I-
yes.
like what you notice for me, what stood out for me is like the treatment of women, and
Well,
what
the
I,
after horrible.
yeah, and it's just like it's so unapologetically accurate, you know, and it's
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick. If I could add to how unapologetically nothing is romanticized in this. It is extremely violent and brutal.
Mhm.
And I watched it again for a second time. And one of the things I really noticed this time, of course, him climbing up the wall and, entering this village. But once he gets in there, they do a fantastic job of showing his sheer size and strength against
Yes.
these other
Yes.
guys.
Mhm.
Because he has this moment where he really he nails this dude with his shield and the guy goes flying, but they did it in a way that it's not like a Marvel, flying all the way back somewhere. The guy really just gets stunned by the shield. And with someone with that kind of brute force, they did something with the soundtrack or the how they filmed it, but you really felt the weight of how strong these raiders were, these berserkers. So I really enjoyed the fact that it was just unapologetically violent and aggressive. After watching it the second time, like I said, I'd say a good 40% of this movie is just screaming. It's just a lot of them just screaming. You know what I mean?
Really?
It's just a lot of people just
really howling at the moon.
yeah,
I
and
noticed
howling.
that. I was like, what did I do? I'm sorry.
No, it's great. It's so good. Like that's why I
That's
think,
good
like you
back.
said, Lej, it really is much more of a it's much more of a man's film in that there's a lot of just testosterone filled moments of these guys just screaming at each other because sometimes there aren't good words for I'm gonna kill you, or it's just pure rage and aggression. But yeah, we do get the softer female and feminine characters that
And I
come into
just
play
loved
later.
that.
Mhm.
I really
I love
loved
her.
that they didn't shy away from that, and that, like we were saying before, the start of the stream, Max, the line by Nicole Kidman that the woman is the whetstone that sharpens the sword, and that they take that and they show that throughout this whole thing between Nicole Kidman's and the uncle. I'm sorry, I can't remember anybody's name, and then Olga's and what's his face's name, Amleth. There you go. I got it. I'm proud of myself. That the women draw them back. That they're constantly like pulling them in. Like, be logical about this. Think this through. Don't just soldier ahead. How can we make this happen? I loved that whole dynamic all the way through. It is as brief as it was. I thought it was just done beautifully.
Can
Well,
I ask a question? Sorry.
go ahead.
Do you see strong women in battle, or is it just the men?
No, not in this
Okay.
one. This is before. So this, if I got my timing right, because a lot of us I think are familiar with the TV show Vikings. This movie makes Vikings look like a Disney fairy tale. But in Vikings, we have Lagertha, who's a shield maiden, and she is right hand man to Ragnar, her king, and like all this stuff, right? So this movie takes place way before that. Before all that stuff. So that is a natural development over time, but you do get elements of it. Like Alasia was saying, the girl, Anna Taylor-Joy's character, who is, for the life of me, I can't pronounce any of these correctly. Sorry.
Olga.
Olga.
Olga. She is the one that reins in our Northman, and he's just very animalistic and she's very feminine, but she's also smart. and cunning, and she helps him take down his enemies without lifting one weapon, but she doesn't need to. Her weapon is her mind, and she flat out says that when we first meet her.
Yep.
You have the brute strength to break bones. I have what it takes to break their minds, and she does just that.
That sounds
a beast.
cool. That sounds really
Nicole
good.
Kidman's character does pick up a weapon at the end of the movie. She does a great job. Does not go well for her, but she tries. Mad effort.
No way.
She does put up a fight. So she's really the only one, but we don't have shield maidens and things like that. If that's what you're looking for, no.
We do
The
get
female
a
characters,
cool-
I thought, added the. Oh, go ahead, Max. I'm sorry.
No. You're good. Go ahead, Roman.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was going to say the female characters, if you don't have the female characters you have in this movie, you just have a hack and slash film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
The female characters necessarily complicate this movie in a good way. So you're getting a lot more layers than just a revenge story, which is what it would have been otherwise. With the way the female characters play out in this, from Olga to the Queen, and that was a turn I didn't see coming, though I should have. If you've seen Hamlet, then you probably or read Hamlet, then because this is Hamlet except pre-Hamlet. But they, like I said, they complicate it in a good way and make it so much more than just a revenge piece. We've seen revenge pieces, a lot. It was better than that.
I would say every man who was part of the main character story was a blunt instrument. And even with Amleth's mother in the storyline with the brother of the king, and then obviously with Olga and Amleth, they are the ones who turn these men from being a club into being a dagger or into being an arrow. And even especially in the case of Amleth, when he loses his way and she keeps him on track.
Yes. Well, even before that, he gets reset by the seer. Before that, he's almost forgotten what it is he wanted. He's become so wrapped up in being this berserker that he forgot he wanted revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Bjork playing the female seer complicates the movie, brings him back into it, and. Without the Queen's the whole Fjolnir, the brotherless character, his storyline is so much more interesting when you get the twist with the Queen. Otherwise, he's just a douche. He's a douche who killed his brother and took over his kingdom and then lost it because he wasn't very good at what he did. But the whole Queen aspect of it changed that up so much.
Yeah. Did you have any sympathy for the brother that betrayed his own brother at all, knowing that the Queen was behind it? Sorry, spoilers. I mean, did it change your perception?
Quite honestly, afterwards, I did, because remember, men are dumb. Men are dumb, and they. And if a
that's
woman
why I asked the question.
Is pushing you to do something, you're probably going to do the dumb thing.
Well, especially when
he
it looks
wasn't
like
just
Nicole
trying
Kidman.
to kill his brother and take his power. The Queen wanted him to kill his brother and take his power. So it's a different dynamic. And so he comes off, and this is opinion, of course, as a bit more sympathetic. Dumb dude following evil woman.
That's it. And you even see, so there's a scene where they've taken out the village, and she's got the slaves all lined up, like who's in line with Amleth, who's the traitor, who's this, and he's killing slaves one by one, Fjolnir is. And he gets to Olga, and Amleth takes that moment to just be like, blah, I'm over here, come get me, kind of thing. And he just brutally takes these guys out until he notices her running away. He sees her heading for safety, and it's that split second that he goes from animal to man, and it costs him, and he gets captured. And I was like, like, there's this really cool, it's like a really cool gray area to where, the women ground them and bring them back to logic, which is what we do. That's what we're designed for, but we are also a distraction. And that's what is Fjolnir's downfall, because his distraction for the Queen, his love or lust, whatever interpretation you got from it, from the Queen and her hatred of her king. I don't think for one second she actually loved Fjolnir. I think she just didn't want her king anymore. And so she manipulated him into killing, and that ended up being his downfall. It took years, but it ended up being his downfall. And Amleth's, I think I'm saying that right, downfall was Olga. And that split second, otherwise he would have been an unstoppable brute force, just like he was in the raid in the beginning of the movie, where he literally could not be touched. He was at that point, that rage, that animalistic behavior, and that split second where he sees her, oh, she's safe. Thank goodness, poof. And you're like, even I was like, you dumb, like out loud in the theater. What are you doing? I was so mad.
There is that dynamic though, because like you said, Tugs, the women in this film and for men can be their weakness, but it can also be some of their most strong moments, because there's a beautiful moment between Amleth and Olga at the end, and Olga says, I used, my heart was hardened to those around me, and I thought that I had to have this stone heart, and I never thought I would give it to a Northman. And then Amleth responds with, I never thought that my fate would be crossed with you. And now that I see that, we are meant to be together. And it's this beautiful sacrificial moment of the masculine and the feminine sacrificing for each other and coming together and saying, this is good. We need to make this work somehow. So it is, to, like I said, the strength part, but then the weakness part is, I'll say this, if Lagertha ever walked into my Viking village and said, kill everyone and I will be your queen, I would say, I'll kill more. I'll kill everyone and more. You tell me when and where and how, and I will do it. Because women have that type of power. And it's just, like you said, Roman, sometimes men can be dumb.
Well, and especially for Fjolnir, somebody like Fjolnir, who is a bastard, so he admits that. It's very quick. Like, we get his backstory very, very, in pieces, that it's super brushed over. But he's a bastard. He's not a direct line to the throne, any throne, ever, because he's a bastard. He's the brother of a king, but he'll never be king. He's never known love truly, probably. Like, we see Ethan Hawke's character in the beginning of the movie. He comes home from battle, and he tells his son, like, you're not a child anymore. I can't greet you like one. And so they do, like, the, he's grown up now, so they do the salute with the hand or whatever it was that they do, a handshake or whatever. But he still gives him a hug. Like, I could still smother you, though. I'm your father. Like, it was a really cute moment. His brother will never know that. Yeah. You know what I mean? His brother never knew that from their father. You know what I mean? So it was because he's a bastard, because he's not blood proper. And so she gave him what he thought was love. I'm telling you right now, what he thought was love. He's never had that before. And so he's going to do anything he wants to, or anything she wants, because that's what he wants. He has this feeling of love and being wanted that he's never had his whole life, despite having a brother who treats him nicely and treats him right and probably loved him as a brother. At least from what I gathered, it wasn't enough. And so he took that hatred and that I'm never going to be good enough. It's very Lion King. I was very reminded of Lion King, which is also a Hamlet story. So it's very Hamlet, very Lion King. That's what it was. And he'll never be good enough. And so he took her like, oh, this woman loves me and she'll never do me any wrong. And it was just terrible. It was just a terrible ending for him, really.
A lot of people have talked about Hamlet, and obviously it is Hamlet. Yeah. But I also saw Macbeth in the way the queen was, and then, of course, the Norns, and then you look at the three witches that are in Macbeth. So I really think Shakespeare kind of took this Norse saga and built out two very English plays in it. But I mean, it's really kind of brilliant, and it's crazy to look back and see how these influences from, what was it, the 9th century, the 8th century, and that these things were carried forward because these sagas and the lessons within them were so important to Western civilization.
Yeah,
I was just thinking about Macbeth. So it's funny you're saying that, just thinking about that. So you can see influences from like Macbeth and Hamlet in the movie, would you say, with the kind of the manipulation angle?
Yeah. Especially in kind of the reverse. In kind of the reverse, where the original saga had those elements, and then Shakespeare did what Shakespeare did.
Can't wait to see it, guys. Can't wait to see it. Oh my god.
Shakespeare.
I think it's going to be really good. And I love too, like Robert Eggers has said before, like he does not like doing modern movies. He has flat out said, I'd rather die than make a movie set in modern times. He likes to do all these period pieces. I think his exact quote was, any time period interests me except this one. I don't blame him. Go back to his movies, like, he's brilliant. I love him.
He's going to be doing, or his next plan is to do a Nosferatu remake. That's the next thing on his.
That's going to be good.
I heard that, yeah.
I love
Maybe William Dafoe can play Nosferatu.
He is supposed to be, actually, yes.
Oh, no!
No way.
Yeah. Purple, was it you or Max that
Purple
talked about the
knows.
gifts that they got after they left the movie? You guys remember? I think we talked about it on Tuesday. Purple, I think it
Yes.
was you.
It's purple.
Yes, they all got gifts once they dropped the filming of the show. The principal cast. I think Bjork got 3 horses.
Like actual horses?
Actual horses, yeah, real life horses.
No
Willem
way.
Dafoe got a longboat, an actual life-size boat. I can't remember what Anna Taylor-Joy got, but I do remember Alexander Skarsgård got to keep the bloodstained thong that he'd been wearing.
Yes. I'm really hoping. I was kind of hoping you were going to say Anna Taylor-Joy got to keep Alexander Skarsgård. And like, that's a fair grade. Amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
accept
thong is kind of like Silkies for the Vikings.
Woo!
you're not wrong. You're not
We're
wrong.
going to need you to go get yours all bloodstained and then come back in battle.
Oh boy.
Oh, whoa!
I'll go.
Oh my
I'll go
god.
fight some.
in
I'll
battle.
go fight some people in battle before tomorrow's
There you go.
live stream.
Great. Thank you.
Solid.
I would appreciate that.
No, it was a really good movie, and I love that it was accurate to Norse lore.
Yeah.
The language. He went so far as to make everybody learn whatever language they needed to learn. Every title card, like, this is where we're at now. We're in Iceland, and it was subtitled in English Iceland, but it was written in Old Norse. Like, it was cool. I loved
Cool.
the detail on that. That was my favorite part. It really is, like, if you like the show Vikings and the brutality of Game of Thrones, like, you're gonna like this movie. The people I was in the theater with were confused at some of like the sacrifice rituals and stuff that they were doing, but that's just because it's so outdated now. You know, not very many people know about that history.
You guys aren't doing that? Am I the only one who's still doing that?
Oh, sorry.
I may
Roman.
need to make some
Yeah.
phone calls. Does Henry have
What?
a lawyer?
It's fine. It's religion. It's religious practice. It's cool. Freedom of religion. You're fine.
How was
That
how was
was,
Bjork looking in the movie? Can I ask Bjork? Because I used to be a big fan of hers when she first started releasing, albums many
Sugar
years
Cubes.
ago.
Yeah,
is
the
she
Sugar
good?
Cubes
Is she?
were
Oh yeah, the
awesome.
Sugar Cube. Oh my God, Sugar Cube Salty. You
Yeah,
star.
man. I got them on vinyl. They are awesome. Yeah.
Was she
Salty's
good?
Salty's our music man. He really is a connoisseur of many different types of
Bjork.
genres of music.
I keep throwing all these bands that Max and I like, Eddie. I keep sending him pictures of the albums I'm listening to him on vinyl. He's like, dude.
Amazing.
One thing I found interesting, again, as a historian, is, I've heard of the ritualistic, like what you were talking about in your stream, Max, and I didn't get it at the time because I couldn't visualize what in the hell you were talking about, but how the berserkers would work themselves up like that. And I've heard about that, but like Tug said, I watched like maybe the first few episodes of Vikings and I just got distracted. It's not that I didn't like it. I had too much going on and I didn't have time to watch it. But I feel like largely so much of this era, they I know that there is some like the ritualistic things that would happen in these cultures, like in Germany and in Iceland and Norway and all these places. I feel like Hollywood is shied away from that because it's so bizarre. It's so odd. It's not like a war dance here and a native tribe here. We understand that, or at least I'm used to seeing them. I've seen the war dances here, and they're quite beautiful, and it's very haunting, and it gets your blood rushing. But like seeing those berserkers like work themselves up and acting like dogs, I was like, what is going on? But it's funny because it seems like that is accurate to what would have happened, and I really appreciate he didn't shy away from that level of weirdness because it was weird, but
Yep.
it was interesting to watch.
And the
Well, what
rituals
was-
of the sacrifices too.
Yeah. It was
Oh, yeah.
bizarre.
And what was great is like, because these sacrifices is whether it's, carrying on a bloodline where you are drinking from a bowl like a dog, or whether you are taking the blood of the horse of your son and throwing it onto your next son in line, like from all the different rituals to sending warriors to Valhalla and all these different, the bear wolf transformation was extremely interesting to me as someone who was in the military. And Roman, I don't know if you also kind of got this feeling of this weird camaraderie with all these guys just kind of screaming, but the significance behind it as you're listening to the shaman speaking, these are not men at all. These are spirits of Fenrir, the wolf, which is one of the Nordic gods. And so Fenrir has possessed them. They are just husks of flesh and bone, and Fenrir is actually the soul that possesses them. And so he's saying, rip off your man flesh and turn into the bear wolf that possesses you. It's like, it's so just interesting and like and spiritual and weird. And that's why they, after the fight, I don't know if you guys recognize this or not, but once they raid the village, the wounded are kind of in this huddle of guys, and they're kind of like recovering from this crazy acid trip that they just had. Because from the night prior up until this fight, they've had adrenaline. They've probably had a crazy amount of mushrooms and adrenaline boosting, rituals. So by the time they're done with the battle, they're like kind of trying to wind down from this insane high, which, sometimes could kill them a lot. But
mushrooms, that sounds magic, Max. Wow.
It feels like it's magical. Yeah.
It's cool.
This
It's
was
really
this
cool.
was the Viking motivational speech before battle. It's very different than the things that Max and I did in the military. Do you do stuff like this? Yes, but you don't do it like that, because we can't do mushrooms or we're wolf kids.
The sports, a lot of sports, football especially, but a lot of sports guys in the locker room that hype themselves up. Who are we? What do we do? What are we going to do? We're going to kill the enemy. Blah, blah, blah. They go out and they run on the football field, and then they get tackled. And you're like,
yeah.
And you're like,
it's like the same thing, except without the shrooms and stuff.
when you're in that huddle or when you're in that locker room, like you're smacking each other around. You're not playing around like, like pushing each other. You are like literally slapping the hell out of each other.
Yeah. And
that is like, that's like, it's vamping you up. It's getting you ready for, quote unquote battle. So now, of course, like you said, Roman, deployments are much more reserved. We have admin and logistics we have to take care of. We have a mission plan that we're following. There are much more organized ways of going into battle now. But to, have someone speak to you and say, this is our mission, this is what we're doing, is essentially the same battle cry that we used to scream on the battlefield of old, of this is why we're here. This is why we're preparing for battle. So yeah, it's just a cool way of seeing where we've come from, where we've been, and now where we are now.
That's where they got the name Berserkers from, isn't it? They used to become berserk. They made themselves berserk. They psyched themselves up so much to become like these incredible fighters.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of the pillaging, the R word I'm not allowed to say on this with the women, all that stuff comes from that adrenaline rush, that animalistic, like that's where a lot of it mentally comes from. And so they just round everybody up and you burn everything down, and now your women are my women, and like all this stuff. And then later you're like, bro, what do we do? We won, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy to watch. And Vikings does the same sort of thing. And it just, the more I talk about it, because I kind of needed time to process, I'm not going to lie. Elijah asked me yesterday and was like, how was it? And I'm like, I don't really know. And I even texted Max. I was like, so that was darker than I thought it was going to be. And also, what else did I text? I texted Max. I was like, also, typical Anna Taylor-Joy's character was 100% would be me. I find the man, I fall in love, and he goes on a suicide mission. Typical. Typical.
No.
Like, bro.
He gives you 2 children, and he goes, nah, sorry, later.
See, you get to raise the kids by yourself. Although, can we discuss just for 1 second? So, because maybe I missed this, and maybe it's the kinsman in the city that she was headed to. He gives the guy, this is my father's ring, make sure you take her to my kinfolk in this city. But he says, you're going to give birth to 2, so she's going to have twins, and you will be mother to a king. But then he dies. How is this son supposed to be a king if there's no king for him to inherit? Like, is it something to where maybe he raised the village and becomes king? Like, is there a sequel? I have questions.
It's the king's ring. It is King Ethelstead or whatever.
Yeah,
his
but
name was.
his village was taken. Remember?
It's Fulliner's ring who got it from Emma's father. That's
right.
Yes, that's the ring is the piece of lineage.
Right, right. I get that part. Proof. But his village, King Ethan, Athelstan, I think his name was. Is that how you say it? His village that he reigned over was taken by somebody else. So King Fulnir was the disgraced king. That's why he was a farmer. He lost that kingdom to somebody else who came in and raided it and was like, get out of here. You ain't nothing, fly. So that kingdom is over. So I guess I just was kind of like, what did I miss? Did I miss something? I thought that he was going to live, and that was going to be like, oh, cool. This bloodline's going to,
I thought
we're going to rise up and take back our home. And then that didn't happen. And I'm like, okay, now I have questions. I have questions now because, the lineage of Ragnar and Bjorn and all that stuff was able to continue because Bjorn was able to take back and all that stuff. So he was able to reclaim his kingdom, but he was already an adult by the time that happened. These little babies, I guess I want a sequel, I guess, is basically where I'm going with this.
I also think you were getting a lot of prophecy in there, Tugs.
Oh, what?
True.
You're getting a lot of prophecy, foreseeing, all that stuff that the seers were talking about. Remember, you're dealing with myth and magic as well as reality in this. So that's like I said, you're getting prophecy, and with the tie-in of the ring, and then that's what I got from that. Is this is the destiny of these children and Olga? This is what's going to happen.
I just would like to know how. I like the house. The how.
It was the daughter that carries on the line. She becomes the maiden king.
Yes. Yeah, she becomes the maiden. That part I understood, but I was like, wait a minute, we can't go back and take this now because the babies aren't old enough.
Will they be king of wherever it is she ended up? I mean, or
Orkney, yeah.
Okay.
No, it could be
they would have to take it from whoever is ruling Orkney at that point, and I'm assuming that would be his kin, assuming there even is a king. But where they came from is gone. It's been raided, it's been pillaged. They kicked King Fjolnir out. He's the disgraced king. They've now taken it over. So King Joe Blow now has it. So you would have to have somebody come in, raid the village, and take down King Joe Blow in order to reclaim the kingdom as their own. So I guess I don't want an actual sequel. I just have questions. It's a standalone.
Yeah, we don't want a sequel.
We don't want a sequel. But I mean, Robert Eggert could do it. If anybody was going to do it, he could do it. But I don't want an actual sequel. I have questions. Because the baby's not going to march with this tiny little stick and be like, "You killed my father, prepare to die." You know what I mean? I have questions.
It could be if we first of all, I'm not the most handsome man on the panel anymore.
Hey.
But
and you scared the boy.
And we could.
I'm getting used to being on camera. I always used just to mute myself. So never mind. I'm a moron. Go ahead, Max.
We could equate this to Aragorn because Aragorn is the rightful king of Minas Tirith. So if even without the steward of Gondor, Aragorn comes in and he goes, "Hey, I'm the lineage here, dude. I don't even have to take over I don't even have to take over Gondor. I don't have to raid Gondor or anything. I am the rightful heir to the throne." So if you wanted to play logistics, you could say technically, hey, this is Amleth's bloodline. This is his ring. This is his son. He is the rightful heir. And the king of Norway, who I believe was Harold, King Harold Finehair, he could say, well, this is the rightful heir, as opposed to the dog, that was Fjolnir. Because we got rid of him all those years ago. You could say that, but I do agree with Roman. There are plenty of things in this film that you go, wait, shouldn't there? Because like when he's diving into the mound to fight the mound dweller, the mountain dweller, he kind of propels down from a rope, and you go, wait, where did he tie the rope onto? It was just a hill. So, but a lot of these are just mythologies. A lot of this is, just the thought of maybe not necessarily like practically how he did that, but it is the context of just, well, we want to tell a bigger story, and the little minutia things don't really mean too much because this is a myth or because this is a saga. Things could have happened a bit differently, but. I know, right? Yeah.
I didn't even notice the rope thing, but now that you've pointed it out,
now I'm like, oh,
thanks a lot. Thanks. I didn't even click in my head that was a problem. I just was more of like, because I say this, but traditionally, when you took over a village, minus like the women because you saved them for obvious reasons, and maybe a few children, and slaves, things like that. But you would go about wiping out anybody that would remember this lineage before you. Whether Fjolnir did that or the new king did that, now that's a line I don't know. But you would kill anybody that you think might mutiny against you at any point in time. Should Amleth show up? Should Amleth's children show up? You would eliminate and be like, what? No, nobody ever ruled here by that. What are you talking about? Everybody that might have thought so is dead. So prove your case, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about. I was like, I have questions.
I think you're reading way too
much
deep
into
into it. It's like it's kind of here, and you're like down here, still digging.
Obviously he becomes king. I just want to know how. That's all. Maybe he's king of something else. I don't know.
I don't know how a lightsaber works. I just know it does.
I know.
I have some donations that I want to read really quick because if I don't, I'll forget.
Do it.
So Lulu, if she's still here, darling, thank you. She says, Woot, you're amazing. Well, you're amazing, my darling. Purple, thank you so much, honey. You didn't have to do that. Really proud of your first live stream. Here's to many more. Cheers. Thank you so much. And then Bruce, he donated again. Nothing wrong with the hack. Excuse me. I hate how it cuts off the words on this thing. And / revenge film that this film completely is. The meat of this movie should be celebrated, the motivation to overcome to establish a narrative, which should be celebrated. This movie rewards its players. I agree with that very much. That's so. I changing the subject slightly from the children. It's funny, like I couldn't help but like see that first when Amleth is a little boy and the king is coming home and they're sitting in the Great Hall. I'm like, oh, it's Edoras. That's what talking. Like, you can't help but see, like, I just like, my Tolkien brain was like, oh yeah, that's it. That's like, it's Beowulf. It's I just love the golden, like we got that hall, that very particular hall style that Tolkien was talking about. But I also loved when he goes into the hill. Again, this is like my nerd brain taking over. I'm like, oh, it's a burial mound. That's so cool because in Denmark, so if you guys know what Sutton Hoo is, it's if you put the helmet from Sutton Hoo and King Theoden's helmet right next to each other, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference because that's how closely they are related. But in Denmark, we have so many of those burial mounds out there that have Viking ships in them, that have men buried in them, but the Danish government is like, yeah, no, you're not undoing those mounds. They're staying put. They've done radar. They've like looked at them, and they are like, some of those mounds could probably rival the riches that we were found at Sutton Hoo. But I think Denmark. I mean, this might be playing into cultural identity a little bit. But so there was a woman who was found in Russia. And she was called the Ice Princess, and her whole body was covered in those beautiful tattoos. And the minute they took her out, the weather like went wonky, and they were like, "Please put her back.
Yeah,
we need her back. Wow. Please put her back in the ground.
Stop digging up 1,000-year-old people. I beg you.
Just leave her be." And so they had to literally put her back, and the weather straightened out itself. So the Danish were like, "No, you're not touching those burial mounds." But I thought that was so cool to like see like. Obviously it was a dream. It was a quest he was supposed to go on, but it was cool to see how they played into how they buried their dead, because you could see the outline of the ship in the mound. I just thought that was so cool.
That is cool. That's awesome. Yeah. I love it. It was a really good movie.
That was one of my favorite scenes. That was to me where the big the hints of Conan of the past were creeping in was that scene. I felt it most right there.
Yeah. Oh, the burial of the son.
The mound dweller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just the hell out of that.
It's funny because even my friend who saw this, even she said, I was not ready for the mythology. I was not ready for the spirituality. No. I thought this was just going to be the show Vikings again. I thought it was going to be just kind of an action hack and slash. And even with all that knowledge not going into it previously, she still gave this a 7 out of 10, which for an art film, for someone just kind of going into it, is pretty high. Like when I think about it, I give my chat a hard time because if you don't rate it anything higher than a 9, then I ban you. But
and then we get backstage. He flips tables.
Then I started to get But yeah, no, I mean, it really is for someone to rate it that highly. Now on Rotten Tomatoes, though, it has something like an
Yeah.
audience score of 60. It's
Oh
brutal,
yeah, I
man.
can see
Yeah.
why.
It's not good.
I can see why, just because I had people in my theater. I don't know if any of the rest of you did, but I had probably the most people in my theater since when I went and saw Spider-Man. So there was probably a good 15 of us, which is not a lot. But for a movie like this, that's a lot. And so, and just everybody, there was one guy in front of me that kind of knew what was going on. And so but the people that were with him, which is probably a good 4 or 5 people, they came in as a group, were like, what just happened? What is going on? Like, is this real or is this a vision? Like, they were very confused because this isn't something we see a lot just in general. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get taught about Nordic traditions. You don't get taught, especially here in America, like you don't get taught that stuff. And so to see it, some of the stuff was really weird. Like the ritual that Ethan Hawke's character and Little Anleth go in with Willem Dafoe with that whole acid trip that's very, it's reminiscent. Like the one guy was like, well, it's kind of like when Native Americans, you know, the coming of age ritual where they do their opioids or whatever you call what that drug is that I can't think of off the top of my head. Do their opioids, they go to the tent and they sit in front of the fire. It's that kind of the same thing, except you do it with the father before you and you see the kings and stuff. And okay. So he was like explaining what he knew. And so I think that that's turned off a lot of people just because it's so different and it's so in your face. Like, I'm not going to explain any of this. You need to figure it out. This is their traditions. We're honoring them. Like, get over it sort of thing, which I loved about it. But I think that's where that audience score comes in, is it was kind of like, what is going on?
Guys, would you say like it's more of what we used to class as an art house movie, and it's been pretty successful, hasn't it? If you consider that, I don't know what the budget was for it, but
I
would think it's more of an art house movie than anything. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not mainstream. It's a Focus Features film, which if you know anything about Focus Features as a production company, they usually do independent, kind of off the wall. Crash is a good example of one of their movies that came out a bazillion years ago. But they do like these kind of off the wall.
Cronenberg.
Independent movies. So at the minute Focus Features came up on the title screen, I was like, oh, I'm in for some stuff. Because I knew it, because I'm a big production
wasn't Kenneth Branagh's Belfast movie a Focus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, I need to go see that. I feel like really bad I haven't seen that, considering
I've not seen that one. So it's only had a $60 to $90 million budget. I don't know how much it's made so far. I know it was dominating, but now that animated movie Bad Villains is topping it, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Corey, exactly.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to see after this weekend. We will, but I mean, what was it on Tuesday, Max? It was in the high 20s, maybe
26. I think.
Yeah.
That's bad, guys.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not, but it's because it's that art house. It is, and it's different, and it's
well,
very
and the problem, I think, the modern audience is dumb. That's unfortunate. The modern audience is dumb. They need everything explained to them, and they need it all right here, as opposed to being able to sit back and go, oh, that's what's going on, and work this stuff out for yourself, which, you know, you didn't used to get everything handed to you. And that's what modern movies give you: a big plate of poop and go, here's a plate of poop. And
and then they tell you, they show it to you, but then they also go, by the way, in case you didn't know that this was a flaming pile of poop, you can see
explain
now.
it on top. Don't think, just consume.
And I think that's the beauty of this movie, though, is they didn't do that. They let you just absorb this and go, and you don't know what's real and what's not, and that's part of the fun. Some of this stuff is obviously going on in the nethersphere. But a lot of it is real, and some of it is that gray area where you just have no idea. And I think I thought that was the fun part.
It's definitely, I think it's going to lose money personally, but I also think that a part of the problem is too, like, Vikings set a good precedent, but I think a lot of people, when they think that era, they think like Jack Sparrow. So Jack Sparrow is a completely inappropriate, I'll get there, I promise you. Jack Sparrow is a completely inappropriate representation of what pirates were like in Port Royal at that time. So if Robert Eggers would have made this movie about Jack Sparrow and his band of Black Pearl people, it would be like this and not like what Disney has decided to show us. Do you know what I mean? So there's this image, and the same with Vikings. People think, oh, Viking Norse, isn't that Thor? Oh, I like Thor. that's not an accurate representation. It started out that way, but it's not that way anymore. And so they have this image in their heads of like, oh, these people are perfect and it's fine. Like pirates were never bad guys, Vikings were never bad guys. We root for Ragnar and we love Ragnar. and not that this character was a bad person or anything, but they did awful, terrible things. All of them. We've all done, all of our histories have people full of doing awful things. And so I think that there's this weird modern thought process that, oh no, yeah, pirates are fine. They were never mean. They never sold women, and that's why they changed the ride, from them auctioning off women to them not auctioning off women. Oh no, they never did any of that, because there's now this modern, in our heads, there's this modern presentation of, well, no, they're actually really nice and fluffy.
It's all rum and treasure hunting.
Yeah, it's all rum and silliness, and that's not.
You saying Pirates of the Caribbean is not accurate?
Yeah, that's not
We hate to burst your bubble, Gray. We hate to.
No,
Oh my
Amber.
God.
Amber pooping the bed is probably a lot more historically accurate than Pirate.
No, yeah,
than,
exactly.
Salty, you
but
had
you
to go
have
there,
heard
did
of
you?
I'm just reporting the news. I'm not making it. All right.
So there's this when they're thrown into the accuracy, and Robert Eggers, of course, did his research. He's not stupid. Did his research and is like, this is the way things were. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Get over it, sort of thing. People are not used to that, and so they're going into this thinking, oh yeah, Vikings, oh yeah, hack and slash, oh yeah, Thor, yay, and they're like, what the heck is happening here? And they're not ready. And I think that's a lot of cinema in general nowadays and media nowadays, but it's also class. Like you in order for you to learn about other cultures, you have to wait until you get to college and then take a cultural class. You know what I mean? Like you don't hear about any of this stuff. So it's like, depending on where you're at. So I don't know. And just the poor guy in front of me, he was trying so hard.
I thought they marketed this incorrectly. I thought they should have said this is a Shakespearean epic.
They did market it as like a hack and slash.
Yeah, and if they would have done that, I think it would have had a better box office for a whole lot of reasons. Instead, it gets organic negative word of mouth because the marketing was wrong, as opposed to, oh, this is a really great Shakespearean version of a Norse saga. I think then they would have made their money back a lot better, because I think it turned off the people who would enjoy this movie. Yeah.
I wonder if it kind of, like people who went to go see this is like one of Robert Eggers' more artsy, like Lighthouse. I had no idea what was going on. Lighthouse was so artistically like,
too artistic, that one.
Yeah, that those liberties taken, I just kind of walked out like, am I the insane one? Have I been in a lighthouse for the past 3 months or whatever they were there for?
Yes,
so I think a lot of I am. So I think a lot of artistic folk went to see this and were thinking that, but didn't get that. They kind of got a mixture of it. And then other people, like your normal kind of hack and slash Marvel movie viewers, went to go see this thinking that was that, but didn't get that. So it kind of falls into this weird middle ground of, it's not really for either extremes, but let me ask the men in chat and the men in the panel, and to kind of bring this all the way back around to our initial conversation that we were having with bachelor parties. Would you guys go into a berserker rage with me for a bachelor party around a fire pit, as we all like stomp shields and spears and swords?
We get to wear the wolf skin and stuff.
Oh yeah.
If we're wearing wolf skins and doing mushrooms, I'm so in.
Okay. Yes.
I'll do it right now.
See this
I'll go
now.
there. We can do it right now.
I identify as a man.
Why do we have to wait for a bachelor party? Why can't that just be every Saturday night? I mean, this sounds great to me. Seriously.
Wait, does that mean us ladies can go pretend to be kidnapped by some terrible, awful people? And
Yes.
You can make up whatever fantasy you want. I'll be there. Don't worry about it. I will oblige.
I want to be included. Dang it.
So much better than my normal Saturday.
I know, right? I know.
My normal
Pizza
Saturday.
just doesn't look good anymore. I want to go and do
40%.
shrooms.
No more, no less. 40% exactly of the evening must be yelling.
Honey, are you going to mow the lawn today? No, honey, I'm sorry. I have to put on the wolf skin and go hang out with Matt and take some shrooms.
Dang it. I should have been drinking out of my Viking horn. Alicia.
No,
I don't know you have a Viking horn.
your response to your wife at that point, Roman, you would have already been in character, so you would have just screamed at her. Just
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Today's Saturday. That's right. That's his berserker day.
It's
Never
wolf
mind.
day.
I
God,
just
forgot.
leave
Yeah.
him alone.
All right.
Yep.
I guess the lawn's getting mowed tomorrow.
Honey,
Yeah.
have you seen my battle axe? I don't know where the hell my battle axe is.
Yeah.
You see
Well,
my
it's
super
misplaced
Sworn.
that.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh well.
Oh my god! Only if you guys were like, you have to wear like the tiny whatever it was they were wearing when they raided that village,
Silkies.
like silky boxer brief looking things. I was like, does he have ants on? No, he does not. Okay, excellent, wonderful.
I'll do
No,
deer
it does
skin.
not.
We got red ants here. We got fire
There you
ants.
go.
I'm doing
You
deer
like
skin.
Tarzan,
Yeah.
Mm.
a loincloth. Silkies
Yes.
are nothing, says Bruce. Yes. All right, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I am
Winning
just
some
dreading
damsels.
tomorrow night so deeply.
It's gonna be great.
Jenna
It's gonna
on the
be
phone
awesome.
and just be
It's
like,
gonna be
"Are you
fun.
watching him?"
It's gonna be fun.
Tomorrow's gonna be fun. I'm
Should
excited.
I wonder if I should just get rid of the camera that's on Gideon and just put it straight down onto my
Crotch
silkies
cam.
and just have a,
Crotch
yeah,
cam.
have a silky skin.
That might get you banned.
That will get you bad. I want to do
That
might
anything
get
that will just
you
get you bad.
I thought you were saving that
Um,
for your OnlyFans channel, Max.
Well, this is going to be my test.
Yeah.
Because Gray, if
Make,
people
make
enjoy
that
it,
members only. Give them the incentive to
There
join.
you go.
Exactly.
well, because I mean, as quickly as I got monetized, I can get demonetized even quicker. So
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can send a
That is
record.
true.
Accepted.
That is
You
true.
did get monetized really quickly. Like, dang.
Well, it was. Well, thank you. It was. I think it was right around, honestly, where everyone else was at. Mine was
Mhm.
about 9 or 10 months in. I think
Mhm.
for the most part, like a year, like 10 to 12 months is right around. I think when people start to, they've
Yeah.
got the views, they've got the subscriber count.
No, I mean
Um,
your approval. The time it
Oh.
took for you to get approved was quick as crap. Like even Jay, it
Really?
took him months to get approved.
No.
Yeah.
That's
way.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mine took 2 days. It was weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I make such squeaky clean family content.
What do you-
I could wish I had an explanation. I mean, but yeah.
Yes, she is.
Hopefully, that would
Yeah.
be nice. Then I wouldn't have to worry about
Checking the
dealing with crappy
donations
people.
every 5 seconds.
Sorry, I'm doing that too fast. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Don't
Not to
forget
shut
check
us
your
down.
Streamlabs.
Sorry.
I said, don't forget to check your Streamlabs before you sign off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Tugs! Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Oh, nice hint there, Tugs. Nice hint. Well done.
Hey.
Honey.
But also, like as a general rule, don't forget before you sign off. I've done that.
Okay, for $50, I love you.
Wow.
Amazing stream. I love you too, honey. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
You're
That's
doing so
awesome. That's
I think I'm gonna
excellent.
cry. I think
I
I'm gonna
know.
cry.
I'm like so I'm so supported. Again, I just like I woke up one day and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try YouTube. And God was like, okay, here you go. He
Yep.
just like shoved me off a cliff. So that's what
Also, I'm a mod tomorrow, so you can't ban me for Silkies. I'm just saying.
I will fight you, however.
I'll be modding too. I'll be modding too. Don't worry, Elijah.
Shield Maiden, come at me. Let's go.
Okay.
Roger
It's
that.
You know what? If Max sends like if Max makes t-shirts and I can get a tank top, I will forgive him for this stream.
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
where's our merchandise, Maximilian?
MV
Teespring
penis.
free. Don't use Teespring.
Yeah, man.
Use,
Come on, Max.
MV penis.
Public.
TeePublic.
You know,
Use
great.
TeePublic.
Gray, you need to email me because you might be able to get a percentage of the MVP-ness because you're the one who came up with the term. So,
Total
A2
cosmic
don't-
accident.
Valid.
yeah. A2, don't say that.
I stand with you.
I
Cancel
totally with
Silkies.
Team Silkies. Okay, now Max, now you have to have merchandise. Hashtag cancel Silkies and hashtag Team Silkies. 2 different shirts. Then we
And
can have
see
a
how many-
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a
And
good idea.
then when we see
people
each other in
buy.
public, we can be like, you. I got meetups and stuff. It'll be fun.
I
That
think
would
you
be
should
great
use
fun.
the Burt Reynolds deepfake and put MV penis with
Oh,
your
yes.
logo. That would be perfect.
Alasia, Max, Harley Dave in the chat is saying Alasia's stream has already got more viewers than Max's shows. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yay,
100%.
I'm just joking, Max. I'm joking. It's Harley
No,
Dave.
no. You're right. Absolutely. I mean,
Back
because
for more low cut t-shirts.
Ooh. That's what I'm doing wrong. That's why I only get 5 viewers. Okay, got it.
I'm just saying.
Salty, when Salty does his show on Tuesdays, is probably the most that I've, unless it's like yelling at parked cars. But yelling at parked cars has been around for like a while, so they've
That's a
got
big show. Yeah.
they've got a big show. But Salty's got a great viewership. Like when we go over the stats, the statistics afterwards of how many people viewed, it's so awesome. And even Tugs, you've got like on your Twitch streams and stuff. When I see how many people are watching, it's pretty significant. So.
You've made such a jump these past few months. I'm so freaking proud of you. Like
It's
I've
Elden Ring.
watched you grow. Yes, and how annoyed you get.
Oh my god.
I'm never playing. Like, okay, so full disclosure, I'm thinking of starting a Twitch. I am never going to play that game. I will throw my controller. I get angry for you. That looks like the most frustrating game ever.
And I've never played any of the Dark Souls games, but oh man. And today I had a jump today on my Witcher stream that I haven't had in quite some time because I'm still questing and grinding, but I went to a new area and then all these people were like, "Oh, I love this storyline." I'm like, "Oh, thank God, I found something new." But yeah, it's good. We're doing good. We're chugging along. You know,
Yeah, we're all making strides, and I'm proud of all of us. So, okay, well, not to like shut down a good conversation, but I know that we've all.
It's fine.
Yes, because I actually haven't slept. I have a lot to do in the morning, and I know Salty is equally as tired. So
you wore me out, girl. You wore me out.
Ooh.
You get your mind out of the gutter. Come on.
Yeah, it's the stream.
Too much bourbon and karaoke with me, Salty, wasn't it? Sorry, mate.
Oh, I'll karaoke with you anytime, Greg.
I wish.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go around the horn. Shout out whatever you want. I care not. Tugs, we'll start with you. So, and I see all my mods have been dropping links. There's Bot. Now I feel special. I feel special now. I did it. First stream.
Yes, that's a good sign.
Yes,
Right,
That's a really good
before
I hit it.
go berserker on that bot.
I don't have a wrench, so whoever has a wrench.
Oh, you
hit
don't?
It.
I'm
Think about it.
sorry.
Think about it.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. I'm
Oh,
not
you
even
delete
kidding
it.
when I
Okay.
say that. That's a
Wait,
good
you got
sign.
it.
No, don't get rid of it. I want to see the best cams of fun, hot girls and boys 18 plus video chat.
Me too.
Why are we? Yeah,
You were
I
on
know.
Hot Girls and Boys
Oh,
for
no.
16 video chat, Max.
It'll be a
That's true.
refreshing
What am I
change.
doing?
It'll be a refreshing change from Disney. You know,
There you
That's
go.
for
There you go.
adults.
Weren't we just talking about?
They are
If
18 plus.
he watches Prawn, it's a red flag. Get it together, bro. Come on.
We didn't actually cover that one. Alasia brought up the tweet, but we never talked about that one.
Oh, a discussion
Maybe for next stream.
time. Because
Yeah,
I
what's
really
your-
would. I'm interested. to
What's
hear
your safe word, Alicia?
Green.
Green. Okay.
And on that happy note, Tugs, shout something out.
What I do?
Tug, shout out your Twitch or whatever you want to.
Oh, I'm on Twitch. That Tug Life with 2 G's and not Thug Life. Tug Life with 2 G's. I'm on Twitch and I'm also on Geeks and Gamers Poor Choices here on YouTube on Wednesdays, where we drink and talk kind of like this. Sometimes
It's great. I don't
Every
watch
now and then there's a
reality TV,
topic.
but I
Huh?
love it. I love. Yeah, Tugs is pushing me to be more girly and be more outgoing. So, and we're making a snail's pace, but we're getting there.
It's gonna start with that sundress you going by.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm gonna have to now post like extensive selfies of that because I feel like I need to like show
I
people.
want to FaceTime while you're in the dressing room trying them on. I mean,
Alright.
you don't,
Oh, I like
slow
that.
down when you're
OnlyFans,
changing. But, you know.
OnlyFans.
Shut up,
Oh my
Salty.
Oh my
Great,
god.
please shout out your
OnlyFans?
channel.
What?
Shout out your channel, Gray.
Okay, my OnlyFans channel is called Wakizashi After Dark. Thanks for the
Yeah.
suggestion, Harley Dave. Appreciate that. No, being serious, I've got a little channel called Wakizashi's Tea House, and I do comic book reviews and live streams with these amazing people when they let me guest. So thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments, chat. You've been amazing, and this stream has been so much fun. Alasia, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Max, leave your silkies in the drawer. What else have you got going on besides that?
Jar.
Everyone come out in full force tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do a a monetization celebration stream. So
Right on.
it'll
Mr.
be
$1 bills ready, y'all. Get it ready.
Make it rain.
we're gonna get those dollar bills ready. This will be the only time that it'll be like a strip club, I guess, and just we'll make it rain. We'll have a fun time.
I'll be practicing your twerking skills.
in the Silkies. Yeah.
Oh
And
God!
I think I think what'll end up happening is it'll be a battle of people donating money to see the Silkies and also people donating to not
Yes.
see the Silkies.
Yes.
So it's going to be a battle of
Oh.
wits. I'm very excited to see who wins out. But it's just going to be a fun time. I have a couple topics that I've got ready to talk about. But if we don't get to those, it's just going to be really me thanking the community, or not community, the fellowship, the family of people that we have. Because there's
I got family.
there's a great feeling when you've accomplished something like that, and it's
Well
cool. So
deserved.
that'll be tomorrow's stream. Well, thank you. You won't say that when I put the Silkies
No,
on, and then
I
you'll
won't.
be
I
like,
won't.
no, you should not have gotten them on.
Slow clap. Well
No.
deserved.
Yeah. So, like Gray said, thank you for having me, Alasia. This really was so much fun. There's a reason why there are so many people watching, because we have such a great panel tonight. There are a lot of familiar faces here that are very famous on this YouTube website, if you will.
Yes.
So yeah.
He means you. And salty.
Yes.
And purple.
All right, Roman, what you got going on?
So you can find me over at Roman of the Empire, all run together because that's the way YouTube makes me do it. I do reviews of old stuff, new stuff, nerd stuff in general. Thank you for having me on tonight, Alasia. This was so much fun. And Max, I'll see you tomorrow. No Silkies. That doesn't mean nothing. Doesn't mean nothing. It just means no Silkies. Thank you.
I will be wearing something, that's for sure. But yeah,
Well,
I have
thank
to wear
God for
something.
that. Thank you for clarifying. You'll be wearing something.
Oh,
Just
my.
a smile. He's just going to be wearing a smile with a
Shut
rose
up.
in his teeth.
Gonna keep his
More
hat
not
on.
helping.
It's just gonna be the hat. That's it.
It's just gonna be
The hat and headphones.
What, that and socks?
That,
hat
yep,
and
just a
shirt.
hat. Not even a shirt, just a hat. That's
Dear
it.
God in heaven. Okay. Fuck.
Still
Purple.
waiting for my photo.
Darling, what have you got going on?
Oh, thank you, sweetheart, for having us today, and thank you to this fantastic panel and chat. I will not be having a show tomorrow because I have something to do, but I will be back on Tuesday with several of these fine gentlemen on Salty's channel, and then I will be back on my channel on Wednesday with Andy Masterson. He's going to be talking
Awesome.
sculpting and action figures. We're going to have a good old time.
That's
I love
awesome.
your accent, by the way.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome. Such a merit. That's so typical of me as an American. Like, I love your accent.
Wait, what about mine, darling? What about
Your
mine?
accent's
You've
great,
not
too.
talked about my accent
Yeah,
tonight.
your accent's great too. I'm like,
Gray, we only have room for one British person.
yeah. So you guys are gonna have to fight to the death in a volcano. Good luck.
With your swords. Start naked.
I'm
Wait.
game if Gray is. So.
I was going to say, is Gray getting naked? Is he getting naked in a sword out? Okay.
No. They wear thongs. It's fine.
Only below the desk. That's all right.
Pants are stupid. It's fine.
Okay, Salty, what do you have going on?
Well, first of all, Alasia, thank you. And thank you for working with me on that Friends of the Fellowship video. It's doing great today. You have such a great voice. It's great to watch you trust yourself and to make this great content. You earned every one of these super chats, and I know you're going to have a fantastic channel just
Thank
as you
you.
are right now. I'm very lucky that I get to work with Max and Purple Valkyrie every Tuesday night on my show. That's 7:15 Central. Also tomorrow, I'm going to be working with That 70s Rock Fan at 4 o'clock Central. We're going to be talking about heavy metal gods. And there's some other stuff I'm doing, but
Nice.
I don't pay attention to my calendar until usually 5 minutes before the show starts. So I'll probably be somewhere else later this week. So
Me too.
Oh my.
Well, okay, I mean, you've all thanked me for having, on my channel, or coming on my channel, but thank you guys for being here, because I mean, I didn't think I would start doing this 2 months ago, and when I did, I was like, if it works, it does, great. If it doesn't, I'll move on. but it seems to be working, and I feel like, you know, I'm succeeding because you guys are supporting me, and I'm so, like, I will never be able to put into words how blessed I am by all of your guys' presence in my lives. I apologize for every novel I send each and every one of you. I understand I write a lot. I apologize. Tugs could probably literally get published like a book that thick of how many novels I've sent her. So
When
thank
she
you all.
gets famous, I'm doing it.
Okay. All right. My rambling rants. But thank you guys for your support. I really, it means the world to me. And I will put this out on Twitter and my Instagram. I'm kind of interested in making this a regular thing. I would be interested to know what you guys think about that. Give it a thought. I like this time slot. It works for me. So I am interested in making a regular stream. So I'm going to throw it out to Twitter chat. If that sounds good to you, you know, I'd love feedback. So yeah, I would really like to make this a regular thing, because I am very serious about YouTube and stuff. And I feel like I if I have a voice, I want to use it, and I don't want to be scared of that. So yeah, that's kind of my thought moving forward. So thank you guys all again so much for being on. Thank you to the chat. Guys, I'm going to get better at juggling all of this. I never expected this level of turnout, and I'm so blessed by this chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'll be better about and engaging with you next time. It all comes with practice. So but yeah, thank you, all of you, so much.
Thank you for having us. For your post.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
So much fun.
Great
For your
show.
post chill stream.
Yes.
To
right.
be fair, the first ever stream, you normally get like one viewer, and it's your other laptop or like your other desktop. So this has been fantastic, and it's all, you know, like Salty said earlier, your voice is well heard amongst this family, Alasia, and just speaks to you and this panel. I mean, we're bringing fans from all over the place to, you know, have a great panel. So it's been really fun.
Yeah.
And a success.
Yes.
True success.
Yes. So anyways, all right. Well, without anything else to add, I'm going to bid the chat good night. And if you guys can hang out just for a second, I want to thank you backstage. So have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you again. And hopefully I'm going to be seeing you again on my next live stream. So bye.
Bye. Adieu.
Bye.
Adieu. Adieu.
Adios.
Matane.